Bino, you like the wishbone or no?
I hate the wishbone. We haven't stopped it since January 1st, 1969. Didn't matter who was running. Army.
Exactly.
It didn't matter.
Hey, guys, what would happen to
Any
y'all's
type of option, we never stopped.
You know what would short circuit y'all's brains? Is if somebody got with the head coach of Texas and they came out in the wishbone first series.
I'd leave.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good for me. I might.
Come on out the wishbone. That would be so great if they harken back. And W. Lynn, thank you to past Texas lore. Just an ode to the past. Go!
They broke out the wishbone, scored on their first possession. I'd be walking toward Tyson Park before their second.
I'll tell you one thing, hey, Bino, you can laugh at this. Arch would be a hell of a wishbone quarterback with his speed and the ability to throw it out in space.
Yep.
You could do that for a series, probably against our defense. We'd be so confused. We're going to be so confused early in the season. I'm so confused. One thing I'm not confused about is that William Patterson's on the way next. I want to thank you for listening to the show today. I love you.
Listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
And here we go. Live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios, it's the Playbook on Fan Run Radio. With Garrett Armbrust, Brett Hullander, and Caleb DeBusk joining you, I'm William Patterson. We appreciate you listening along with us on this fine Friday from Knoxville, Tennessee. And we've got plenty to cover over the next 2 hours, including getting ready for a big weekend on Rocky Top in terms of recruiting. David Gabriel Georges is on campus this weekend, folks. The 5-star running back out of Baylor School in Chattanooga. He's one of the crown jewels of the 2027 class and is the top target for the Volunteers as they go through the 2027 recruiting wave. And this is a guy we've been waiting to have land back in Knoxville for some time. He's taken a couple of other visits. He was in Columbus last weekend, but now Tennessee and this recruiting staff have the opportunity to maybe get a little extra advantage, a little bit of a leg up on the other teams. We'll talk about how important this visit is for DGG and the Volunteers to tip things off on today's show, but then we'll carry over to the hardwood as Tennessee basketball has their matchup set for the ACC-SEC Challenge in the 2026-27 basketball season. We'll tell you who that team is and why you should maybe be a little bit disappointed that other teams got better matchups. We'll also touch on Tennessee football, those point spreads we discussed yesterday, continue to discuss that. And then in hour number 2, we'll take a look at the diamond for Tennessee baseball. Another member of the 2026 team has said he is coming back for 2027. We'll tell you who that is and the 7 other players that are returning to Rocky Top next season. And then also we'll get you ready for the NBA Finals Game 2 tonight in San Antonio. The Spurs look to even it up. The Knicks look to take a commanding lead before heading back to Madison Square Garden. And we'll wrap it up with our final thoughts. But before we get into the show, we need to welcome in the rest of the crew. And before we do so, let me remind you to like and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on that YouTube chat, we appreciate it. We want to hear from you as well. How excited are you for David Gabriel Georges to be on campus this weekend? We'll discuss that here in a moment, but we'll go to Garrett first. Garrett, how are you on this Friday?
Yeah, doing good. Pretty busy Friday. We got college baseball super regionals getting started, NBA finals. So hoping to make some money on my college baseball bets again today. College baseball is one of those sports where if you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money on college baseball betting. Hit a pretty big parlay last weekend. The odds are usually not as tight on college baseball. So if you know what you're doing with college baseball and you watch the sport a pretty good amount, you might want to turn that into some money, like I'm going to hopefully do this weekend. But yeah, looking forward to Game 2 of the finals tonight. We'll get into that later. But yeah, played some golf yesterday. Weather was nice. So finally not having the nonstop rain that we were having at the end of spring. Definitely feels like summer now, and excited to continue the nice weather throughout the rest of the summer, hopefully.
Baseball started, right?
What's that?
Isn't there a game on
Yeah,
right now?
Cal Poly West Virginia is in the top of the fourth right now.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought they had started early. Yeah.
How'd you play?
All right. I hit it pretty good. Short game's a little rusty right now, but hoping to play a little bit more this summer. I haven't really played much in the past 2.5 years. When I was growing up, golf was pretty much my life. Went there, golf course every day after school, played in college for a year, but now that I've come to Tennessee, it's definitely taken a back burner in my life. So trying to get back into it again.
Well, Brett and I are dressed like we're going on tour today. I'm repping the RBC, and he's got the Masters on.
I'm playing after this. So
Oh!
I haven't played in a number. I mean, my weekends are usually locked down with soccer and stuff. So I've really golf's taken a major backseat for me. But I love the game and stuff. I watch it. I'll play it when I can. But yeah, my brother invited me out, so I'm going to go out there with him after this.
Well, there you go. I didn't know you were a golfer. I guess we've never discussed that.
No, yeah. I mean, people just think of me a soccer player and things like that, but it's a family thing. I've grown up doing it since I was little. But like I said, once I started focusing more on soccer, kind of like probably Garrett did with going to school and all that, like it's took a back seat. And yeah, having a family makes it a little more difficult too to get out there. So, but gonna go try and enjoy it today. Is just try not to get frustrated. I think it's the big thing this afternoon.
Another cool hat today too. I like that hat.
That one's SM.
Yeah, SM Athletic.
The rope hat.
Yeah. So I don't have many golf hats. I normally don't wear a hat when I golf. You know, it's just one of those things. I don't know what it is, but I figured I'd try it today. So we'll see.
Yeah, I like
maybe because I throw it or something if I get frustrated.
Yeah, oh no.
Go like Spurrier with the headset used to do.
Well, don't tell the course that before you get on.
But now that I'm older, I think I've calmed down a little bit. So, yeah. But
now that you're older, you're only throwing one club.
I will say I was debating on whether showing up after my trivia performance yesterday.
Well, speaking of that, let's talk about guys that did not show up yesterday because they heard the trivia was going down. I know. I'm just giving him some grief.
He probably killed us too.
Yeah, I know.
I was ducking.
Caleb, how are you? Happy to have you back today. When work calls, sometimes you got to answer. I understand it. No worries at all. But you did have the opportunity to miss out on what was a dominant performance from Josh Lovett yesterday in the Thursday trivia. What were your thoughts on that? Do you feel like you could have done better than Josh?
No, I don't. I feel like I dodged a bullet dodging that one. But all this golf talk's got me a little jealous. I feel like I need to go book a tee time now. But yeah, we're feeling good. Like you said with the Florida State matchup, not too keen on playing Florida State. Not because they're good, more so because they're not so good. I would have rather played a higher level ACC team, but nonetheless, glad to maybe at least get a free win on the schedule. But yeah, feeling good on a Friday, ready to talk some ball.
Well, good stuff, Brett. Now, every time you go into your kitchen and see an iron skillet, I'm sure you will think of TCU and SMU.
I'm just wondering who's playing the Scripps Howard Bowl this year.
Well, I'm again trying to figure out where that bowl game is played.
I don't know.
Is that played at Hogwarts?
Isn't that the spelling bee too?
I guess. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's the Scripps Howard spelling bee or something.
Well, I know it's the Scripps spelling. I don't know where the Howard came from. Maybe I'm not a big spelling television guy, but
it was just poor performance.
Yeah,
so
it's okay. Hey, we got next week. We got the opportunity every Thursday, and then at some point, you guys are going to spin it to me. And then we'll see if this loudmouth can, back up all the talk.
Artifacts, man.
I know. We'll see. All right, let's get into it with David Gabriel Georges set to visit this weekend as Tennessee football is poised to have another critical recruiting weekend on campus. This time it features perhaps the biggest target on the Vols board, 5-star and in-state running back David Gabriel Georges. And starting later today on Friday, Gabriel Georges will be in town for his official visit. This comes after taking his official to Ohio State last weekend. And if you were on Twitter earlier in the week, you saw the montage that the Buckeyes put together. It looked pretty cool. So I hope the Tennessee creative team is going to be in their bag this weekend, as the kids say, and put something cool together.
The rock? Are there anybody painting the rock?
I look, I might be out of college, but I can still paint. And I've done it before.
I feel like this is if we've ever needed something painted.
Well, remind them of my record, Brett.
You're undefeated.
2-0.
Yes.
Never lost.
David Sanders, the big fish.
Sanders, Chaz Lanier. Chaz Lanier got out of the car and came and dapped us up, took a picture with us. And I got a picture with David Sanders, too.
Is the difference like those visits were on like school was going on, right? Like
it was in the summer. They were both in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure the time frame of when you did the rocks.
Chaz came early June because it was.
Was that right before he committed?
It was during. It was right before he committed. Yes.
Yeah.
He might have come late May because I think it was either July 4th or Memorial Day. I was at the lake and he had DM'd me and said, I'm about to commit. And I was like, let's go. And I was like, well, let's get you on the air. And that's the last time we talked. But
it's pretty disappointing if somebody's not taking the mantle on the painting.
Yeah. Now, David Sanders was in the summer, though, because I think that was right after Tennessee had just won the national championship in baseball, because that's the shirt I wore.
He committed on the Feinbaum show.
Yeah,
I did. That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, I obviously do have a good history of painting the rock and landing recruits, but I will not be painting the rock this weekend. I am 23 and probably out of that landscape of going to campus and painting things. But regardless, we're going to try and paint the picture of how big this weekend is for Tennessee football, as Gabriel Georges, as I mentioned a second ago, visited Ohio State last weekend, is also set to visit Ole Miss and Georgia. Now, Ole Miss is a little bit more intriguing because Georgia already has a 5-star running back commit currently in their class. So you kind of figure that Ole Miss would be the better option of the two, but Georgia obviously has a great program. Kirby Smart's a great recruiter. They're still in the mix as well. But for the most part, Tennessee and Ohio State are considered the favorites, and it depends on who you ask. If you're in Columbus, they'll tell you DGG is a pretty good fit for Ohio State currently. If you ask the Tennessee people, including myself, they'll say, well, I feel pretty good about DGG right now, even before he's on campus. So there are a lot of different opinions out there, but I will mention that earlier today, a prediction from Rivals Sam Spiegelman came in, and he is now predicted as DGG to go to Ohio State. Now, the percentage is not as high. I think it's a 65% number, but that is still noteworthy, as Tennessee is going to look to turn the tide in that facet, but at least currently projected by 24/7 Sports and Rivals for DGG to go to Ohio State. But again, a long time. His commitment date is set for July 22nd, 2026. So well over a month, plenty of time to recruit. But this is a big weekend and a big opportunity for the Volunteers. And here's the reason why I believe David Gabriel Georges is such a big deal for Tennessee. Because Josh Heupel loves to use multiple running backs. Every year he's been here, there have been 1 to 2, 3 guys firmly in the mix. Even when it was Dylan Sampson, you had guys like Deshaun Bishop and Peyton Lewis. Even this past season, it was kind of a combo of Peyton Lewis and Deshaun Bishop, but you also got Star Thomas featured. This upcoming season, it's going to be Deshaun Bishop as the lead, but you've also got Javon Gordon, and you've got a pair of young guys and Justin Baker and DeJuan Morris that are going to have the opportunity. Josh Heupel likes to use 3 running backs, but with a guy like DGG, this is a player you can play multiple downs a possession or a drive, and he's going to be a player that can extend drives just based on the amount of wear and tear he can put in on an opposing defender. So there's that aspect to it. The second thing is this is an in-state kid. Now, I know you might be saying at home, William, he's from Quebec, Canada. He's not an in-state kid. He's got no ties to Tennessee. But, I mean, the reality is he goes to Baylor School in Chattanooga, which is an hour and 30 minutes down the road. He's an in-state kid, in my opinion, because he's right in your backyard. That's a guy you can't let get out of the state of Tennessee. That's not a guy you can let go to Ohio State. He's an in-state kid in my eyes because he's down the road, and that means that you've got the easiest access to him. It's a no negotiation type of deal to not have the best relationship with them. And then finally, this is a guy you don't want to go up against. Regardless of whether you want him on the team or not, or want to win the recruiting battle, this is not a player you want to face. You don't want to play Ohio State in a college football playoff in 2027 and see David Gabriel Georges on the other side. You don't want to match up against a Georgia or an Ole Miss in these upcoming seasons, 2027 and 2029, when they're on your schedule. You don't want to see this kid on the other side because he's going to be an impact player. He's a 5-star for a reason, and he's one of the best players in this class for a reason. So when I look at David Gabriel Georges, I see the fit, I see the in-state, and I see a guy that I don't want to go up against. And for those 3 reasons, Tennessee needs to make this weekend a priority, and reaffirming that relationship needs to be at the utmost importance this weekend for Josh Heupel and company. Garrett, to you, how big of a deal is DGG on campus this weekend for Josh Heupel and co?
Well, I mean, I think you want to flip the momentum. Obviously, Ohio State right now has the upper hand, you would feel like. A lot of national, college football correspondents have said that that's the case, and you've kind of want to just flip the momentum from what, you saw the Ohio State visit, and you've seen the digital media packages they've done with him and everything, where, hopefully Tennessee's, obviously, as you said, the creative team does the same thing this week. But I think he has to create a good relationship with Josh Heupel. Obviously, the times that he's been met with, it's been more of the offensive staff outside of Heupel. And you've seen when he's gone up to Ohio State, he's met, heavily with Ryan Day. So I think that's important. And like you said, I mean, this is a guy that can be a program-changing running back. Obviously, you want to have a good offensive line to have a good running back, and you look at some of the younger names on that offensive line, David Sanders, Gabriel Osenda, guys that in 2027 are going to be no doubt starters and have had lots of snaps on the O-line and going to be able to block for him. And this is a running back that's putting up incredible numbers. He's putting up numbers that you saw, Leonard Fournette put up in high school, 10 yards per carry in a high school football game. And he doesn't play for small town county, high school in the middle of nowhere. I mean, he's playing legitimate competition, and he's going for 200-300 yards a night sometimes. This is a guy that can make an immediate impact as a freshman and someone that you want. And obviously you've seen that Tennessee can do it with 2-3 running backs before. You haven't really seen in the Heupel system where you just have one guy that you give 250-300 carries to throughout a season, and I don't think you're ever going to see that. But to have a guy that is a clear RB1 potentially their freshman fall, that just shows you the capabilities that this kid has, and you're going to have him for 3 years, assuming everything goes well. So, if he's already this good at 18, just imagine how good he's going to be at 21. And, if you can unlock him, obviously Derek Owens with the strength and conditioning program, this guy's already massive. But you put this guy on the Tennessee, freshman 15 and bulk him up even more. I mean, this guy could be one of the best running backs in the country by his sophomore season.
And we'll hope that's a Derek Owens freshman 15, not freshman 15
not
acquired.
The one we know.
Yeah, not one acquired at the Hill, but according to 24/7 Sports Composite, he is considered the number 10 player overall in the class and the number 2 running back, in addition to being the top player in the state of Tennessee. So obviously, outside of Knoxville, he is highly coveted and highly regarded. And Brett, to you, how big of a difference would DGG make, not only for this class, but also just the outlook in the future for Tennessee football? In 2027, we have expectations to be back in a college football playoff mixture, especially if Faison Brandon or George McIntyre establish themselves this season at quarterback. Having a running back like DGG is not only going to be a big-time player, but it's going to help your quarterback as well. In terms of that outlook, how big is this weekend?
Yeah, first of all, the Rock is painted. I'm looking at
a
feed right.
Oh, good.
And they've written a message in I guess French on the Rock as well. So they've done their research.
Ooh wee!
I don't know how to say it, but whatever
have to get Allie.
the
We'll have to get Allie
meaning
back.
is welcome home. I looked it up.
Okay.
So it's welcome home DGG, all white. So it looks okay. Yeah. Probably needs a professional touch like yourself, but
Sure.
it's still painted. It looks good. I showed out, or Caleb, sorry. But no, he's obviously it'd be a huge get. Arguably the best recruit in almost the history of the program, just composite wise and everything else. Be one of the top names. And these are the kind of players that put you in the playoff and put you in position to win SECs and win national championships. And you keep them away from rivals and other teams you've mentioned. And yeah, it's going to improve your quarterback play, your wide receiver play. And like Garrett said, with the offensive line, you're probably going to have in there. This is almost the missing piece, because you're going to have a lot of returning talent coming back into 2027. And if you guys think Faison's going to go through this year with his tough sledding, but then make a big jump, this is going to continue to help him progress as well. And with his run ability and DGG in the backfield, that's a dangerous combination. And the Titans fans wanted Ward and Jeremiah Love. Maybe those Vol fans will get at least DGG and Faison Brandon combo in the backfield.
Another reminder, David Gabriel Georges ran a 4.38 40-yard dash about 6 weeks ago. And for reference, among running backs in the NFL draft this past season, he would have placed 4th overall. He would have been top 20 in the class that just got drafted this year. So this is a 17 to 18-year-old kid that is as fast as almost the entire running backs class that you had coming out of college this past year, and would have been a top 20 guy at the combine had he been there in Indianapolis this season.
Could he make it a Jeremiah Smith impact? Are we talking that kind of talent?
Let's drop the Smith. Let's put a Jeremiah Love type of impact.
Well, whatever you want to call it. Is that your expectations of this kid day one?
My expectations for David Gabriel Georges is that this is a 3-year contributor, for sure, at least a 2-year starter if he only stays for 3 seasons. But this is the type of guy where all 3 years his name because he is making plays.
Back-to-back 1,000-yard season.
Oh, yeah. And another thing
another
thing I'll note too is you just missed out on Savion Hyder in this past class.
I was pretty mad
You
about
were
that.
neck and neck with Michigan. The Wolverines ended up landing him. You didn't have a running back commit in this past class. Now, it's not a huge deal with the transfer portal now. You were able to add a Javon Gordon, but David Gabriel Georges gives you a 5-star recruit and a running back commit in this cycle. You need one. You need a running back in this cycle anyway. Might as well make it a 5-star that lives an hour and 30 minutes away.
Now, is he good out of the backfield too? Can he catch it in space and do some of those things too? Or is it just one you hand it to him, let him go?
For my time watching him, and again, I don't watch a ton of high school football.
Most of the time you're giving it to him in high school. You're not throwing it to him.
Exactly. I don't watch a ton of high school football. The only 2 high school football games I have watched in the last year have both been Baylor school because of David Gabriel Georges. That's the type of fascinating player that he is. Now, both matchups were against Macaulay. That's a great rivalry down in Chattanooga. They matched up in the regular season in addition to the state championship. And the guy that stuck out, Gabriel Osenda was huge. He stuck out out on TV. But then it was David Gabriel Georges because he was running 10 yards a carry, and Macaulay's a good school in terms of the guys they bring in. They've got a lot of talent. They bring in a ton of Canadians, a ton of guys that speak French, and this is real level high school football. It's not like he's playing at St. Benedict in Memphis or playing at the high school that Arch Manning did in New Orleans. This is real high school football, and he's running at 10 yards a carry. I haven't seen a ton of him out of the backfield, Brett, to answer your question.
Yeah.
But again, when you're running at 10 yards a carry, there's really no need to get him the ball in the passing game. Just hand him the ball, and you'll get a first down more times than not.
That's true.
And Caleb, to you, obviously a huge rundown here on how good the guy is. What do you make of David Gabriel Georges? Is this a no-brainer must-have for Josh Heupel and company? And you're not likely to, get any sort of commitment or anything like that this weekend. That commitment date, once again, July 22nd. But if you're able to build some momentum, do you feel like this would be the crown jewel of the class that you can start to build around?
Oh, absolutely. I think if you're wanting to take that next step, which is what we want Heupel to do, this is the kind of recruit that you have to land. I mean, I think we've seen it in the last, let's call it 8 months. I think there's been a big shift among donors and among the athletic department in general about what we want to be as an athletic department. I think we're tired of being second tier and then getting up to that first tier and then getting swatted down, or like going up to Columbus and losing the way we did, or losing the way we did in the last 2 Elite Eights. I think with the Jimmy Haslam donation we just got, I think it was yesterday, $130 million. I think they're echoing that sentiment that we're tired of being a second tier school, and these are the kind of guys that you got to land if you want to go to that second tier. And I think money is the answer there. And I don't know what we do with recruiting visits, but whenever we get guys here, they rave about it. I don't know what they do over there as far as recruiting visits go, but they need to keep doing it, because pretty much every time we get a guy on campus, all I hear from what they say about their visit is it's just praise. So whatever they do, keep doing it. I have no doubt that our social media team will probably do better than Ohio State, because our social media team, I don't know what they do, but they're the best in the country, is from what I've seen. And I'd say, yeah, this is the kind of guy that you have to have, especially when you miss out on a running back like Hyder last recruiting cycle. He goes to Michigan. This is a freak athlete. This would probably be the best recruit in the Heupel era, second to maybe Faison Brandon. But yeah, this guy's a must-have, and if Heupel wants to go to that next level, this is the kind of guy that you got to land.
I will note on that Haslam donation that you mentioned, that was just for the Haslam Business School and as well as research. So it's not going to the athletics program. But again, it shows where the University of Tennessee is. Want to be great in academics, also want to be the everything sport and athletics. And getting a guy like this certainly helps you become an everything school, and maybe a little bit more than everything in college football. Could be the school in college football down the road if you land a guy like this. And can you imagine what that 2027 offense would look like? 5-star quarterback Faison Brandon, 5-star offensive lineman David Sanders, 5-star offensive lineman Gabriel Osenda, 5-star wide receiver TK Keys, 5-star running back David Gabriel Georges. You want to be the best? You got to recruit like it. You got to have the blue chip ratio like it. Ohio State, they've got 5-star players up and down that roster. Georgia, 5-star players up and down the roster. Texas, you name them. If they're making the college football playoff, they've got the best kids in the recruiting class committing to them. And not that Tennessee has done a poor job over the last couple of years, but you have to continue to stack. And when you start stacking classes with high-end talent, all those guys are going to mesh together, and you're going to get a pretty good combo. I like the opportunity of David Sanders blocking for David Gabriel Georges. I like the opportunity of Gabriel Osenda, his former teammate at Baylor, blocking for a David Gabriel Georges. So when you look at this current Tennessee class, it's not there. It's not to the standard of the program outside the top 30 on both 24/7 and Rivals. But again, you land a guy like this, you get a couple of other commitments here and there, and that class starts to trend in the right direction. But something I talked about last week that I do want to reiterate, I think this staff has started to prioritize the high school recruits that they believe can play right away or be looked at as depth pieces. So some of those middle guys, like a 4-star recruit that might be commanding a high-level price tag that you might not see playing for a couple of seasons, they're still recruiting them, but they're not going to get in an NIL battle for them. A David Gabriel Georges, you're willing to get in a battle for. You can miss on an in-state kid that's a high 3-star, low 4-star that goes to Kentucky. You can miss on a kid that chooses Clemson over staying in-state and going to Tennessee. And you save that money for a guy like David Gabriel Georges, who, to my understanding, is going to be around $1 million player. And I think he's worth every penny of it. Because, again, he's a game changer. He's a difference maker. And when you think of Tennessee football's history, the best teams have had really good running backs, have had reliable guys in the backfield, have had playmakers in the backfield. And David Gabriel Georges would fit that bill. And, we can sit up here and talk about it the whole 2 hours today, and that wouldn't do it justice. But you know how big of a weekend this is. We know it as well. Now it's time for Tennessee to get things done. and you question Caleb about the recruiting process, what those visits look like. I think Derek Owings put out a video earlier today on his Twitter. Looked like they were having a Friday lunch or something like that.
At breakfast.
Breakfast maybe. Yeah. Hope it's good. Maybe some.
Feel bad for the other 14 guys that are in town.
Well, no, but here's the thing. If David Gabriel Georges is in town getting treated like a king, that means the other 14 kids are too. So that's a good weekend. If you're a 3-star recruit this weekend, you're eating it up.
And you've said before that you believe that if this came down to a bidding war, Tennessee, like this would not be something that Tennessee loses because Ohio State outbids you, correct?
Yes, I would agree with that statement. I don't think Ohio State's going to outbid Tennessee for them because, again, as I've mentioned, you've passed on a couple of guys over the last couple of weeks that wanted to get in NIL battles, and you said, we're tapping out. I think it's really for David Gabriel Georges is going to come down to where he wants to go.
What's the family saying in all this? Where are they? Are they leaning anyway?
Well, the family's in Quebec, so that's a long call away for me. But
are they here? Is the whole family?
I don't know.
Some of those people you missed on too, like Salisi Moa, Legend Bay. Like if you would have got all those, you might not be able to go out and now get him. Right, I mean, but since you missed on some of those guys, now you might look back on that in a couple of years and say, "Thankfully, we missed on those."
They're not running backs, right?
Well, no, but I'm just saying from an NIL perspective, those guys weren't going to be cheap.
Or if you had Hyder, I mean, you wouldn't be going after this guy probably.
Sure. Well, with Moa and Bay, those were guys you recruited in that individual class. I don't think you were necessarily budgeting for this class with that class. But what I was more referring to, and you touched on it as well, Garrett, is these guys over the last couple of weeks, kind of these 3-4-star kids that are in state that go to a Kentucky, go to a Clemson. Those type of guys are not worth getting in battles for. You don't even know if they're going to play for you, and let alone come here for a season, then enter the portal. That's a waste on investment.
I think that Malik Howard is an interesting prospect, though, right? Isn't he a 4-star? Isn't he local?
Malik Howard, is he?
I think he's here this weekend.
Okay, yeah, I do know Malik Howard.
And he is here with multiple family members, parents, aunt, uncle, and his brother.
Yeah,
so it's a family affair.
I would look at Malik Howard this weekend, maybe becoming a part of the class. I'll just throw that out there. But for David Gabriel Georges, the assignment is clear. Roll out the red carpet for him, and I think Tennessee's doing that. Real quick, before we hit the break, want to check the chat. B.S. Osborne says, I think what we need to remember is DGG is that. And I think he's referring to saying, me saying that he's not, we shouldn't look at him like, oh, he's from Canada, he's an in-state kid. Osborne is saying, well, you probably should look at that because he is an out-of-state product out of Quebec, Canada. And he's kind of referring to it as, Memphis. A lot of Memphis area kids end up going to an Ole Miss or kind of looking in more of that region of the South. And I think that's a fair point. But again, DGG's an hour and 30 minutes down the road. It shouldn't be that hard of a task to form that relationship and keep that relationship strong when you're just a couple of exits down the road, right? So that's my big point there, but I understand where you're coming from. And then GBO Kyle Beach says, Ohio State fans were freaking out on social media yesterday thinking that the $130 million was for athletics and we were going to outbid them for DGG. Maybe that $130 million just came in for DGG specifically, right? But my understanding, I don't think Tennessee's going to get outbid for the guy. I think it's going to come down to where he wants to go. And for a high school running back, a 5-star player, top 10 kid in the class, he's going to be around $1 million is the projected value there. I think Tennessee has got the funds in place if that were to be the case, right? And it's going to come down to, do you want to go to Ohio State? Do you want to go to Tennessee? And hopefully, for the Volunteers' sake, it's Tennessee. It's here in Rocky Top.
Some guy wrote, the atmosphere development plan, NIL opportunities, path to becoming the face of the program will all be part of the conversation. Even wearing the number 0 out of the gates has been a topic.
So what now?
Evidently, the number of what he wears is going to be a topic of conversation. So, Ethan Davis, you might have to.
Well, I think Ethan Davis will be graduated by then, correct? Ethan Davis
I don't know what
senior,
year
right?
Is he? I don't know.
Well, William Wright's out of the mix, so
basically, the guy said the atmosphere development plan, NIL, path to becoming face of the program will all be part of the conversation. Even wearing the number 0 out of the gates has been a topic.
Well, he could play here immediately. If he went to Ohio State, he'd have to wait a year for Bo Jackson because Bo Jackson was a true freshman this season.
Play right away here.
I'll say this because I know we're up against the break, but I think the days of us getting outbid over players that we genuinely want are long gone. And I think I know it's a different sport. I think basketball proved that. He increased his Rick Barnes got his budget increased by over half, by about 65-70% to this season. So
yeah, I think there are some different variables with the basketball team, I will say, but again, for a player like DGG, you might have to call
throw it out at the window.
Might have to call the people.
And Davis is a redshirt junior.
Got it. Okay, so he's draft eligible.
Yeah.
But all right, when we come back, great conversation on DGG. We'll talk more about it throughout the next hour and 30. But we need to switch to the hardwood. Tennessee has got their ACC SEC Challenge opponent locked in. We'll tell you who it is and why it's kind of disappointing when we return right here on the Playbook.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
What kind of day is it? It's a White Claw day. Grab a pack, grab your friends. Everything else in life can wait. Your friends shouldn't. Let's go. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Ball fans, reimagine your home at Broadway Carpets and Flooring for any remodeling or building needs. With a variety of carpets, rugs, hardwood, vinyl, and stone, Broadway has all the flooring and installation options you're looking for, including pet-resistant products like Pet Perfect Carpet from Shaw Floors. Visit their showroom in downtown Knoxville or the location in West Knoxville located on Kingston Pike near Pellissippi Parkway today.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game, Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
The voluntary reaction.
Can't get enough Tennessee basketball? Join Fan Run Radio as soon as every UT game is over for Big Orange Country's post-game radio free-for-all. The voluntary reaction. We'll be taking your calls on the Vols as soon as every game is over. So tune in and buckle up as we drink from the keg of glory all the way to the Final Four.
The voluntary reaction. Raw, unfiltered, real.
All right, back here on the Playbook. We appreciate you listening along with us on this fine Friday from Knoxville, Tennessee. I do apologize. Kind of had a couple of slip-ups in the first segment there. My eyes were going through a circus at our monitor over here. I guess the background changed. It's usually either a nice tiger or jaguar.
I can see it, the reflection sometimes.
Yes.
Like it's over your face.
Yes.
Like when I'm looking at you across the way.
I it looked like someone was going through a bad acid trip or something, and I couldn't focus my eyes at the camera, so I do apologize. But that might have also been my excitement for David Gabriel Georges arriving on campus this weekend. But we'll table that discussion and pivot over to the hardwood as the University of Tennessee men's basketball team will welcome Florida State to Food City Center for the 2026 SEC ACC Challenge, as revealed Friday morning by ESPN. The contest between the Volunteers and Seminoles is slated for December 1st, and the tip time and TV network will be announced at a later date. Tennessee Sports is a 5-4 record against Florida State, but the sides have met just once in the last 37 seasons. after starting the season, starting the series 4-1. They've lost. Tennessee has lost the last 3 of 4 contests, and this goes all the way back. I was looking at it this morning before we made a post. I think it goes all the way back to 1957 when these two teams matched up. So a lot of history dating way back in the day, but the last time these two teams matched was in 2019. So obviously, Florida State is not the same team they used to be under Leonard Hamilton. Now a much different program and not as exciting. You, I guess, are happy that Tennessee gets an extra home game here, but Florida State's an underwhelming opponent. And especially when you look at the list of other games, well, Tennessee kind of got the bad batch here. Arkansas at North Carolina. Auburn at Clemson. I know Clemson's not sexy, but still a good program. Duke at Florida. They were cooking when they made that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then South Carolina at NC State. I guess Tennessee already has NC State scheduled, right?
Yeah,
but,
we do.
You've already played Louisville.
I would have had LSU, NC State.
Yeah, how do you not get that?
Will Wade.
Yeah, that would have been fun. You can't get perfect here, but I would have liked Virginia.
Again, we just played them.
I know, but in the
we've
tournament,
played them multiple times over the years too. I feel like
in the tournament, though, I mean, and this is a different Virginia team. Tennessee, Virginia would have been more enticing.
Miami would have been fun.
Miami would have been interesting, even though you
play in Wake again.
Yeah. I mean, I could say not too far down the road.
There's just not many good ACC teams, are there?
Top half of the ACCs. I mean, they got 6 or 7 opponents that you would want to face
over
FSU.
We played Louisville the last 2 years, right? We played away to there 2 years ago, and then last year.
Yeah, so
you
weren't going to get Louisville. Syracuse, you kind of got when they were a little bit underwhelming, and obviously Tennessee did not handle business last year.
I mean, we played Duke in the exhibition. We played UNC when Connect was here. I mean, I guess more of these teams we've played. NC State we've played. Louisville we played last year. Virginia we played in the tournament.
Is it more about the SEC teams at the top this year and why we didn't get one of the – like if Arkansas's reloaded, I mean, they're going to be good. Like, I don't know. Like
Tennessee,
I feel like it's more about what the conference has coming back more than what we got in the ACC. I don't know.
Yeah, Tennessee.
It's a combination, I guess.
Tennessee and North Carolina played Connect's year.
They did, yeah.
So that was the SEC ACC challenge then. Maybe California would have been interesting for Day-Day Ames' sake. SMU would not have been a bad one either. You could have played SMU had they not lost to Miami of Ohio in the round of the first
Bring
4.
DJ Edwards back. I think he graduated.
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly on his status, but regardless,
yeah,
they're not a number of great teams to go up against, but in terms of matchups, Florida State 5 years ago would have been a lot of fun, but the current iteration of the Seminoles, not as much fun.
Are they better than the football team?
I think they're about even.
This team, they lost to UMass last year. They let UMass score 103 points.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State athletics is in a bit of a limbo these days.
Didn't they beat Florida last year or came close in non-conference play?
I feel like that's right.
I think they beat them.
Yeah, they lost by 2.
Okay.
Yeah, put up a fight. But Wake Forest, Brett, I think Wake Forest would have been a nice one. Maybe Pittsburgh. I don't know.
The coach has ties here, Forbes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been fun. I don't know. Obviously, you lose Duke Harris, you're going to take a hit to your team.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know.
Rubbing it in a little bit. Hey, we're coming back, and this time we're bringing your best player from last year.
Yeah.
Out of all the list, you couldn't really get a great one, but you could have also played Notre Dame.
Harrelson.
Yeah, brought back Harrelson there.
They have ties to everybody.
I know.
The best win they had last year was either SMU or Miami, from what they lost some close games to some good teams. Let me see.
NC State would have been fun with Gainey, though.
I think I'm with.
But you're already playing. You're already playing NC State in the neutral side.
I think Miami would have been the one. I think that's a good call by Garrett.
And you played.
They were decent last year. They got that assistant from Duke that's doing a good job as their head coach.
They got the kid from Georgia.
They're going to be pretty solid next year, I think.
Yeah, that would have been. Who they got? Who's Miami playing?
Miami is playing Alabama.
And we don't really play Miami in sports like ever. And they're like a very big national brand. Like
that would have been fun.
Tennessee and Miami played, was it Chaz's year in New York for the Jimmy V Classic?
That was 24, 25.
It wasn't.
Yeah, I guess it was 25. No, I think it was 24.
So the
You
Florida
played
State's
them
coach
recently,
came
though.
from the NBA. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
and he's young too.
He's
I guess it was fall of 24.
36
like
years
the
old.
non-conference of the 25 tournament team.
He coached with Golden State. He was there with Durant and Curry and all them, and then he went to Sacramento.
Yeah, it was December of 24.
Yeah.
They were
But-
only 3-7 at the time, though.
But let's cut the crap here. Instead of doing an exhibition, let's just schedule Duke. Why don't? I mean, Duke.
We're playing him in the exhibition, right?
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Just cut the exhibition. Let's do Duke, Tennessee. Do a home and home.
I wish we could go back to the SEC Big 12 tournament.
Yeah.
Or challenge. That would have been. That's
is
more
it Michigan
fun. You get
State we're
Texas Tech, Kansas. I mean, there's just
Or
so
do the
many
Big Ten.
teams. Yeah, the ACC's
But they do.
just not what they used to be in basketball.
Yeah.
Well, the ACC in general is not really what it used to be. But also, I think the funny thing about this matchup between the two conferences is obviously the SEC only has 16 teams. The ACC overextended their invite to the conference, so it doesn't look like California and SMU are included in this year's SEC ACC challenge. So I guess they'll get an extra game or something. I don't know, but can you imagine? I mean, I guess it could be worse. You could be playing Stanford.
How does SMU not get an invite when they were a tournament team last year?
Well,
That's true.
French
The newbie
tournament
to the
team.
conference, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but I know what you're saying.
there's much worse teams than them that could have got shafted out.
Stanford got the bid, though. Can you imagine going to Stanford and playing that? But Florida State is what it is. It's not sexy. But when you look at Tennessee's out-of-conference schedule, you do have a number of big-time matchups already. You're going to Mackey Arena to take on the Boilermakers of Purdue. You've got the neutral site contest up against NC State and Nashville. You've got the Players Era Tournament where you're scheduled to face Maryland in the first round, and who knows where you go from there. And then that Michigan State game that you're referencing, Caleb, it's not been signed and a done deal yet, but Rick Barnes did kind of hint at it during the Big Orange Caravan back in April. So if you add Michigan State and have a home and home with them, that would be really cool. And maybe make up for playing Florida State in the SEC ACC Challenge. But at the end of the day, you're going to have a strong schedule regardless. Purdue, Michigan State, NC State, Maryland, and then whoever you face the rest of the way in the Players Era. That's going to give you at least, 6 top 50, top 60 teams.
Florida State's number 67 and Bart Torvik.
Maybe
next
Devin
season.
Vassell can lace up again for him for
Yeah.
the game.
NC State's 39, Maryland 35, Purdue 27, Michigan State 7.
Bring back Scotty Barnes while they're at it too.
Is the Michigan State game though? That's not going to be an exhibition because I thought that was what it originally like. It was going to be similar to what Duke was this year. Is that going to be an actual game that counts toward your record?
They're trying to make it an actual game,
Okay.
and it just hasn't been signed yet. But the initial plan would be Michigan State comes here, and then Tennessee goes to East Lansing in 2027.
Because we played them. Connects in an exhibition.
That was like the
game,
first exhibition
Connects
we ever
one of his first games.
Correct.
It might have been his first game, I guess, in the exhibition.
And that was and that's the Tom Izzo game where I think all of it goes to charity, and they wear the funny shirts and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I think, you still got a good schedule. This is still a good schedule and a lot to be excited about. But when you get a handout in terms of an ACC opponent in your own building and it's Florida State, it's a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah, I play Florida State, then NC State right after that. Then we go to Purdue on the 11th.
I wish
So,
we'd schedule like a solid mid-major too, though. Like a mid-major team that's going to be a tournament. Play them in December before you get into conference
like
play.
a Belmont.
High Point's not that far away. You could schedule them. There's a number of solid mid-majors that you could
true.
schedule.
Well, you played Tennessee State this past year. Tennessee State was a tournament team.
They were, yeah.
They were.
But
They
Brett
only had-
doesn't like those games, though. We
I
would
do
always
not like those
we would
games.
always come on here talking.
Like you look at some of these teams, like Bama's schedule is ridiculous. Again, I don't know if you've seen theirs. It's ridiculous.
They play. That's what I said. They play mid-major. They play USF.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well, Oates does an interesting schedule philosophy to where his senior class, he tries to get a game close to their hometown.
Yeah, that's why they played in North Dakota a couple years
Yeah,
ago.
and that's when they play North Dakota. So, I think there are a lot of different ways you can schedule, and you're sure to have your fair share of games that you wish to not occur. But I think for an out-of-conference schedule right now, it's pretty solid, and especially if you add Michigan State and get that signed and done. Purdue and Michigan State, those are really two really good opponents. NC State's intriguing because of the storylines. Florida State, You just got to win because of the challenge. And then I think the players era, you're going to have, you have an opportunity to play a really, really good team if you win in that. And obviously,
so is Duke playing Florida? Is that the one they're talking about playing in Miami at the Marlins Stadium? Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that.
They're moving a Duke game or something for somebody to like Miami.
I think that was Michigan. Maybe.
Was it Michigan?
I think
they're like moving it out of like Washington D.C., a neutral site game to play in.
That would probably be
Michigan. Then. Yeah, I think it's the Michigan game.
That's ridiculous.
To put it into perspective, Florida State has the same odds to win the national title as the Titans do to win the Super Bowl.
So not very likely.
Yeah, Duke, Michigan will be played in Marlins Park. It was moved out of MSG.
How could you even do that?
Nothing says college basketball.
like Miami,
especially the Marlins Stadium.
Yeah.
They're playing a big game at MSG, though, at some point. UConn and somebody you're playing.
Are they doing another one of those like Capital DC games this year?
Well, that's what they're talking about. Yeah. So it was going to be at Madison Square Garden, but now they're moving it to 40 miles away from Miami, even though it's called the Miami Marlins Stadium.
Oh, so it's the same game. Okay.
Yeah. So it is what it is, but not as exciting as playing a Duke or North Carolina. GBO Kyle Beach on the chat says, I would like to play Notre Dame. That would be a fun one, especially for Jalen Harrelson, the transfer from Notre Dame that is a part of that great class for the Volunteers heading into the 2026-27 season. But you still got some good teams on the out-of-conference schedule. When we come back, we'll touch a little bit on Tennessee football, those spreads we discussed yesterday, and also a little bit more on David Gabriel, Georgia. Stay right here. It's The Playbook on Fan Run Radio.
Catch up with all things Fan Run by subscribing to our podcast feed. Like, rate, and download the show from the Fan Run app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco at Knoxville Smiles. Have you ever wanted to improve the look of your smile? We know firsthand what the power of a great smile means to a person's confidence and health. Our team of doctors can provide you with an array of options for helping you achieve your cosmetic goals. From simply moving teeth into a better position, to reversible cosmetic bonding, to full mouth implant-supported dentures. It is our goal to help patients feel good about their appearance while achieving optimal health. Want to learn more? Call us at 865-539-1776 to schedule an evaluation or visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Hi, this is Bo Kregner from the Kregner Group at Realty Executives, and I know there's a lot of choices here in East Tennessee when it comes to choosing a realtor. Here's why the Kregner Group is different. At the Kregner Group, our motto is walking by faith, serving others. It's how I live my life. It's how I run my business. Here at the Kregner Group, we're committed to doing real estate the right way. Faith, honesty, integrity. The Kregner Group. Call me anytime at 865-742-1035 or visit my website at bonoshouses.com.
Welcome to Axle Logistics, where excellence isn't just a goal, it's an energy. As a leading third-party logistics company, Axle is powered by an award-winning culture built on a work hard, play hard mentality. Here, the drive for success is contagious and hard work never goes unnoticed. Whether you're just starting out or looking to level up, Axle Logistics is the place to launch your career. Join us and take your ambition to the stars. To learn more, visit axlelogistics.com.
All right, back here on the Playbook, hour one, moving by pretty quick, almost as fast as David Gabriel Georges, who's on campus this weekend. We discussed that at the top of the hour today, but also yesterday we discussed those lines, those game spreads for Tennessee football that have been released by DraftKings, and once again wanted to touch on that today. Texas, a 7-point favorite at Tennessee. Alabama, a 1.5-point favorite at Tennessee. LSU, the same way, 1.5 when Lane Kiffin returns to Rocky Top. But when Tennessee travels to Texas A&M, it's a little bit of a different story. A 9.5-point underdog are the Volunteers. But Tennessee does have the upper hand up against the Vanderbilt Commodores as a 3-point favorite in Nashville. And, I think it was really interesting yesterday kind of watching everyone's reaction to it online. For me, I thought the 7 points was very generous in Texas's favor to not be 10 points, 10.5. And I think that line will change, as Garrett discussed yesterday as well. That line probably is going to change after the Longhorns beat Ohio State in week 2. I'd imagine a 10-point spread anticipated. So if you're a Texas bettor, I'd probably hop on that line now. But again, that's just my opinion. I'm not going to give out any of those picks until we get to the week of the game. But if I had to place one now. I like Texas at the 7, and I know some Tennessee fans aren't going to like to hear that, but you have to keep in mind, folks, this is a really good Texas team. Did a hell of a job in the portal. Arch Manning comes back, but they also add in Cam Coleman at wide receiver, Ryan Wingo, one of the fastest players in college football, back. Their backfield of Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown is going to be enticing. A really good defensive line as well, or it's going to be a really good offensive line, in addition to some really good defensive players too. But I mean, it's really go up and down the list. This is a really talented Texas team. But again, I think the game that intrigues me the most and I thought was most interesting was that LSU spread. Only 1.5 inside Neyland Stadium. And it's a long season. That game is played in November. You can't anticipate what those teams will look like at that point. But you feel like LSU is going to be more of a favorite than just 1.5 when you look at the roster at least. And Garrett, to you real quick, right up against the hour, I mean, which one is more surprising, that Texas is only at 7 or that LSU is only getting 1.5 in Neyland Stadium?
I think it's LSU, because I think the Texas one, they open it that way just because you don't know what's going to happen for the Ohio State game. And as we've said, that's obviously probably, if Ohio State wins, going to close at 10.5. LSU, even if it moves, significantly, it's probably not going to get more than 7 points. So, I mean, I don't know. LSU is a really good team. Obviously, coming into Neyland, it's going to be the first game that Kiffin's coached against Tennessee since the incidents in 2021. But, LSU, very talented team. But I think this is just them saying that Tennessee, they trust their defense and they trust Tennessee's record in Neyland Stadium in the Josh Heupel era. So, hopefully Vegas is correct on that one.
When we were doing our prediction for the game time slots a couple of weeks ago, I did say this could be an interesting spot for the Volunteers. I think regardless of Tennessee's record, this is going to be the 7:30 game on ABC just because of the storylines, and that could set up for a late season upset for the Volunteers. Kind of, even though the game wasn't played at night. Well, actually, I can give another comparison. Kind of Alabama at Oklahoma-esque in 2024, if you guys remember that one, because that was a very surprising result. But I was going to go with the Ole Miss Florida game in 2024 as well, where the Rebels were a college football playoff team, lose in Gainesville. Yeah. But that could be an interesting spot. Even though I don't agree with the spread currently, it could be an interesting spot. I could see where they're going there.
That'll be LSU's third game in a row too. It'll be Alabama, Texas, LSU, or Alabama, Texas, Tennessee. So boom, 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 just like that.
Yeah, and they could be battered and bruised to that point in the season.
They get both those games at home though, so that's a benefit for them.
Yeah, most certainly. All right, when we come back, hour 2, we'll switch over to the Diamond, talk Tennessee baseball, another key retainee for the Volunteers, and Josh Yelander also will discuss the portal visitors for this weekend on Rocky Top, and then we'll get you ready for Game 2 of the NBA Finals between the Spurs and Knicks. We'll wrap it up with our final thoughts. Stay right here. It's The Playbook on Fan Run Radio.
Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it these days at Fox Sports Knox, Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Are you ready to show off that confident, radiant smile you've always dreamed of? Well, here at Knoxville Smiles, we're ready to turn your dream into a reality. At Knoxville Smiles, we're more than just a dental practice. We're your partners in achieving optimum oral health. From routine cleanings and checkups to advanced cosmetics and restorative procedures, we offer a wide range of services in an environment that makes every visit a positive and comfortable experience. At Knoxville Smiles, it's about more than just treatments. We're focused on creating a welcoming environment where you feel like family. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed with your comfort in mind, and our friendly staff is always ready to address your questions and concerns. Don't wait any longer to achieve a beautiful smile you deserve. Schedule your appointment at Knoxville Smiles today and take that first step towards a healthier, happier you. Call us at 865-539-1770.
Here we go. Hour 2 on a Friday, live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. It's the Playbook on Fan Run Radio. Garrett Armbrust, Brett Hullander, and Caleb DeBusk joining you. I'm William Patterson. Great stuff in hour number 1. We'll continue it here in hour number 2 as we head to the Diamond and talk some Tennessee baseball. Couple of key returners coming back for the 2027 season and a number of portal visitors scheduled for this weekend. David Gabriel Georges isn't the only guy visiting campus this weekend. So we'll talk about that. Also get you ready for the NBA Finals Game 2 tonight between the Spurs and the Knicks. San Antonio looking to make up for their woeful second half on Wednesday, trying to even the series at 1 apiece before heading back to Madison Square Garden. For the Knicks, trying to take a commanding 2-0 series lead, as now all they have to do to win the series is win every game at home. So we'll discuss that and what to watch for. We'll wrap it up with our final thoughts. So plenty to cover in hour 2. Let's get right into it. Talking Tennessee baseball in the offseason as Stone Lawless is returning to Tennessee baseball for the 2027 season. He told VolQuest and Mike Wilson, the one that reported it earlier today, Lawless joins a growing group of Vols who have confirmed their return for the 2027 season, including Cam Appenzeller, Landon Mack, Trent Grinlinger, Will Haas, Nick Abram, Chandler Day, and Jackson Estes. All of those guys returning. That's 8 in total when you add Lawless into the mix. And for Lawless specifically, a redshirt sophomore, slashed .234, .366, and .467 this past spring with 7 home runs and 19 RBIs. Also had 21 total runs, doubled 4 times, and walked 17 times. Or excuse me, and walked on 17 occasions as well. I should have said that way. But regardless, now that's 8 members of the team that are returning for the 2027 season. Keeping guys on the roster is really big in all of college athletics, right? You want to be able to retain talent so that you're building a program and especially building on young talent that you have already developed. You want to get the most out of them because the most detrimental parts of college football or college basketball or college baseball in 2026 is that these guys can be a part of your program for 2 to 3 years. You've done all the hard work. You've developed them. You've gotten them ready to play on the big stage, and then they say, I'm going to transfer. I'm going to go use all that and all that hard work. I'm going to go take it somewhere else. So it's big to retain as many guys as you can. I still think that Trent Grinlinger is the biggest retainee of the group, and he's kind of similar, a younger player that really came on strong this season as a freshman. His brother committed in the high school class currently. There's maybe a possibility that he ends up on Rocky Top as well. But Stone Lawless returning is still big as well. And hell, he had a crazy season, especially with getting his nose recircuited in that Vanderbilt series. But Garrett, to you, now that Stone Lawless is back in the boat, we've been discussing this throughout the week, kind of keeping track of it, these guys that are returning. Do you still feel like this is a strong group returning? Is there still more work left to do? And what do you make of Lawless specifically coming back?
Yeah, I think these are the names that you wanted to bring back. Appenzeller, obviously touched on him. High-level guy that's going to be a weekend starter next year. Mack, same thing. You would assume he gets a little bit better next season. Hit a little bit of a lull this season, but obviously still going to be a weekend starter. And then Grinlinger is going to be probably one of your leading power hitters next year. And Lawless coming back makes it, I think, a little bit interesting for Grinlinger too, because you would assume you don't know what's going to happen to Garrett Wright. Obviously, Garrett Wright catches some games, but Stone Lawless, you would assume, is going to be pretty much your everyday catcher next year with him returning. And so now is Grinlinger, one of the positions Grinlinger could play was catcher. Is he just going to continue DHing next season? And I think if he continues to DH and all he has to worry about is hitting and he doesn't have to worry about defense at all, I think you could see the numbers even spike further from where they were this year. And obviously, we said we want to see maybe a little bit more power from him. Your batting average can't get too much better than 350 as a freshman. Yeah. And obviously only played, kind of from the middle of the season onward starting, maybe a little bit before that. But, his RBIs numbers through a whole season will shoot up. Home run numbers should shoot up. Power will obviously get a little bit more going into his sophomore year. So it'll be interesting to see, if Lawless is that everyday catcher, does Grinlinger just stay at DH? Because kind of looks like that's the road that we're going right now is Grinlinger's just going to be your everyday designated hitter, and all he's going to have to focus on is getting hits and continue to get better at that position and doesn't have to worry about any defense at all. So I think that's an interesting little nugget to see with Lawless there. And then obviously you mentioned some of the bullpen arms. You just got to continue to get a better bullpen than you did this past year. You're going to be looking for a new pitching coach. So I would assume that most of these guys will also take a step up before next spring. And I think you're already seeing that next year's roster is going to be better than what you saw this year.
And that's, the interesting thing that we kind of touched on yesterday is the fact that you make the firing of Josh Reynolds, and that was the right move for Josh Elander. I applaud him for doing that as a first-year head coach. Really difficult decision to make, especially when you were kind of on the same level as Reynolds under Tony Vitello. So I applaud the decision. It was the right move. Tennessee had a 4.72 ERA, the highest since 2013. A number of walks, a number of bad outings that costed Tennessee games. But now the other variable, as you kind of touch on, Garrett, well, you don't have a pitching coach currently. You got to figure that out pretty quick because you've got guys coming back on campus, but you're also trying to retain guys from last year's roster. That needs to be figured out sooner rather than later. I know Elander announced yesterday when he made the decision that it was fully underway already in terms of that search for a new coach. But that's another tall task at the moment. Got to get a guy because it's going to be difficult to retain these players and retain more of these players, I should say, and also land transfers if you don't have their position coach in place. But outside of that dynamic, Brett, do you like the returning cast at this point in time? And I know there are a couple of more names that have been floated around there, haven't officially submitted their name to return. But out of this current group, what do you like? What do you think needs to improve?
No, I mean, I think I kind of like the group. You need to retain guys, so you're not having to spend too much more time in the portal. Ben McKee was on with Tony before I was driving in, and he's mentioned some of these guys. They really like a lot of these guys they're retaining. They just think maybe they weren't getting the quality coaching that they needed. I mean, one guy was out all season long. I think Estes was out all season long with Tommy John, and they're really excited about him and things like that. So I think they like what these guys have. Otherwise, I don't think they'd be bringing them back. I think with the right coaching, these guys have, and these guys were the most successful, I guess, out of the bullpen that, if you want to say that are coming back. So I think with the right coaching, I do like a lot of the arms are coming back. With Appenzeller and Mack kind of leading the way there and stuff like that. And of course you're excited about Grinlinger and some of these guys. So I mean, you're going to have to continue to hit the portal and things like that. You got to think that Elander's probably got his guy in mind, or I don't know if they'd fire a pitching coach this early on, but I think I like what we have coming back, and I'm all for giving guys second chances to see if they can improve from their season before. They'll be extra motivated, different things like that. So I really like the group that's coming back so far, and I think they'll just continue to add more, and that's exciting right now.
And at least in my eyes, in any sport, I always think about starters first. In terms of forming out your roster for baseball, I think you've got 2 starters returning on the mound in Landon Mack and Cam Appenzeller. And maybe you can find the third guy out of the transfer portal, or maybe one of these cats that didn't really play a whole lot this year. You mentioned an Estes, maybe even a Will Haas, guys that kind of.
What is Arvidsson going to do?
And Arvidsson, there's a list of guys that could possibly move up to that 3 spot. But I think Appenzeller and Mack are both, pretty solidified as starting level players. So I think you kind of go down the list of, okay, who's our starting group, who's starting in the field, and then you kind of add those depth pieces. I know pitching's a little bit different. You want to have a good bullpen. That was obviously an Achilles heel for Tennessee this past year. But the way I look at it, I do like that you're returning 2 starters on the mound, and you can figure out that third option with the guys you retain or in the transfer portal. And now it's really going to come down to the rest of the group. You're excited Lawless is back. You're excited Grinlinger is back. But there's still a lot of work left to be done in that facet in terms of getting those guys back. But you do mention the Tony Basilio interview that they did earlier with Ben McKee. I think he did touch on Blaine Brown, if I'm correct.
I think he said he was probably coming. He has no indication he's not coming back. As well as Levi Clark.
Yeah, and those would both be great.
And the other one he mentioned, and the other thing he mentioned is Tony asked him how many pitchers he envisioned, because you only get 34 on a roster.
Yeah.
He mentioned up to 18 pitchers possibly on this roster, so, and I know one of them, I think the guy visiting today from Mercer is a 2A guy. He was a closer for Mercer and a really good bat. He's up for 2A player of the year in the country.
Yeah.
So, there's a possibility, and Blaine Brown's a possibility as an arm, but I'm just saying, like, that might be, and I think Garrett mentioned that last, when we were talking about the team this season, like, people maybe look at more 2A guys to where, they're not just pitching, and then they're got a good bat too. So I like the route as well.
I think the Blaine Brown pitching days are over, though.
I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
He was at Rice. People talked about him being a 2A guy. His numbers at pitching at Rice were not good.
We were excited after that first.
Yeah, he did. He struck out the side in his first game, but he
also had 3 home runs.
He could not command his strike. He could not command the strike zone at all. And when he pitched later in the season,
he needs to focus on hitting.
And he needs to focus on hitting, because I think a lot of people at the end of the season, they were kind of agitated at what he brought to the table, because it was not good at the end of the season. But that guy has his power is limitless, and he can be the best hitter on your roster next year if he figures it out.
I also think will be easier for Elander, because he was thrown into a tough position with not a lot of time. He had to figure out balancing, managing, and then being what he's good at, which is hitting. So I think he's going to be able to balance that a little better as well. And I think he's going to focus these guys in the cages and whatever. And I think they're going to go off and have good summers as well in these Cape Cod leagues.
Yeah. Caleb, to you, what do you make of this returning group, and what needs to be improved, or who's a guy that you think would be a big retainee?
Obviously, the easy answer there is Levi Clark. You really want to know what he's going to do. He's probably the biggest guy left floating out there as far as bats go. But it's good that we're retaining some of these bright spots from our bullpen, especially guys that we're looking to start next year. bullpen guys are a lot cheaper in the portal than starters are. So you're saving money there. And that's kind of where we're at right now with like NIL and portal and stuff like that. Is you want to retain the guys that you've got. That's kind of the name of the game. It's kind of what's been developing over the last few years. Is you want to spend money to retain the guys you got instead of going out and spending a lot more money bringing guys in. And I think we've done a good job of that. I think a lot of the guys that we've let walk, we've touched on it before, are guys that we feel like we can replace or spend money and go out and get better, just as good, if not better, production at a similar price point. So I think where we're at, we're in a really good spot with baseball right now. We're not. I mean, if you would have asked me in like January, I would have said everybody on the team's transferring and we're going under 500 in SEC play. But that's season ended out stronger than it started. So we're able to retain a lot of these guys coming back. So I think we're in a really, really good spot for next season. We got some really good returnees, some key guys, and then we're able to build around them.
Yeah, and now you're in the transfer portal process, right, where you're trying to add even more to the mix. You want to keep these guys on the team, on the roster for the 2027 season, but you also have to refine some things after losing a number of players, all that be guys that didn't really play a whole lot or contribute a ton. Now you've got the opportunity to fill out the rest of the roster. So let's talk about these portal visitors this weekend. We did a ton of talk about David Gabriel Georges. So let's now pivot over to the baseball players on campus this weekend. We'll begin with Northwestern State transfer pitcher Brody Trosclair, and he is visiting Tennessee baseball on Sunday. This comes from Eric Kane of VolQuest. RTI also confirmed it as well. Trosclair is coming off a strong freshman campaign where he posted a 5-1 record and a 1.89 ERA. Strong number there, 1.13 whip. And he was the Southland Freshman of the Year in addition to those strong numbers. He's a lefty, started 4 games, made 6 relief appearances, and struck out 55 batters in 38 innings pitched. So a good number there. And then you mentioned the two-way player earlier, Brett. That is going to be Mercer's two-way, Braden Kersey. And he's visiting today on Rocky Top. No rock painted for him, but still a big name nonetheless. And this is reported by GoVols 24/7's Ben McKee. We were discussing that call with Tony Basilio earlier in the show. Kersey was a versatile piece for Mercer. And he was Mercer was one of the bigger snubs in the NCAA tournament. You felt like they could have made it. And a big reason why was because of Kersey. And he's a right-handed pitcher. He posted a 4.95 ERA while recording 6 saves and 20 innings pitched, but he also was productive at the plate as well. You like that two-way opportunity. I will say a two-way player coming from maybe not. I mean, Mercer's more of a mid-major.
For his bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mercer's more of a mid-major than, Rice is, but this one kind of scares me a little bit, just knowing in the back of my head that Blaine Brown was kind of recruited the same way. But obviously, Blaine Brown's great at the plate when he's at the top of his game. You hope Kersey doesn't have the type of drop-off that Brown did, but an intriguing prospect nonetheless.
I think the only thing that worries you is he's, unless they can put him somewhere on the field, because Grinlinger's in here.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. It doesn't mention anything outside of pitching. That's the only thing I worry about this guy, and maybe they do have a position in mind. We need outfielders, different things, but I guess that's the only downside to this guy. Maybe.
Sure. Well, you got an infielder, maybe not the outfield, but he's an infielder. This is an Air Force transfer. This is Wyatt Hanonian.
Good job.
And he is visiting Tennessee baseball on Monday. And this is coming from VolQuest Mike Wilson. He first reported it to RTI, also confirming it. And Hanonian is coming off a standout freshman season in the academy where he slashed .357, .498, and .573 with 6 homers, 14 doubles, and 4 triples. He also drove in 49 runs. He was a rising sophomore that will be eligible for the 2027 MLB draft, and another intriguing option. This is a good bat, and we talked about it throughout the week. You'd like to get the pitching figured out, but Tennessee needs to get back to the bats, back to the basics, if you will. And under Tony Vitello, it was long balls left and right. The porch was more of a catching zone for a free baseball, a souvenir spot. And if you parked in the outfield, well, you might not do it again because of all the balls
Safe
coming
light.
out. Yeah, exactly. Safe light replayer.
Safe light
replace. Yeah. So I like all 3 of these guys. I really keen on that Air Force transfer, though, Hanonian, because I think you need more guys like him. And, hopefully he is able to translate from Air Force to Tennessee. You hope all these guys are. But I'm excited for offense. I'm an offense-oriented guy and methodical in that. And I think Hanonian would give you that. But also the Trosclair kid is intriguing as well. Garrett, out of these three options, who piques your interest the most?
I think it's the pitcher. To be that, have a sub-2 ERA as a freshman, 5-1 record, 1.13 WHIP. Those are really solid numbers. The South one's usually a pretty solid baseball conference for mid-majors. And obviously, this kid's just scratching the surface of what he can be, is only a freshman. So you would think with a little bit more development, this kid could be a really strong bullpen arm. So I would lean him. I'm with the Brett. I think the Mercer kid is intriguing, but do you have a spot really on the roster for him to play if he's not pitching? It kind of seems like.
Unless you got a different plan for Grinlinger. That's the only thing I think of.
And you also would have Myatt coming back as a DH as well. So, I just don't know where this guy would really necessarily fit into the lineup.
That's true.
The Air Force guy, I think this would be a guy that you've seen that at the bottom of the lineup. This could be a guy that you could maybe put him at the front of your lineup and be the guy that gets on base, but I think this could also be a guy that hits in like the 8 hole that you trust that you can turn the order back over, because you saw that a lot in the beginning or at the end of the season where you got down to like the 8-9 hole hitters and it was like out, inning over. And it was like, why can the guys at the bottom of the lineup not get on base? Why are we swinging it strike 3 pitches in the dirt? Why is our 2-strike approach this bad? And so I think if you have a guy this guy obviously doesn't have a ton of power, but he's able to get the ball in play. And if you can get the ball in play, that's going to be very valuable at the bottom of a lineup, because we've seen that a lot in Tennessee lineups. You saw it in 2023, the bottom of your lineup was not very good. You saw it last year, the bottom of your lineup was kind of suspect at times. The bottom of your lineup this year was pretty suspect at times. The bottom of your lineup in 2024 was still good, and the bottom of your lineup in 2022 was still good, and those are your best teams that you had. So I think you need to get back to having better 7 through 9 hitters, and then that's just going to help your whole lineup. So is the Samford kid, is he not visiting this weekend? Because I know that
Souders,
that was someone that they were talking about as well. But
I guess I might have missed him.
I don't remember if he was here yesterday, right?
Maybe I think he's already visited. Okay. That's why I didn't include him.
Unless he's still here, but he was.
He's also an intriguing guy because he was a guy that
similar to this Will Hannon guy.
Yeah, and he seemed like he had maybe a little bit more power. And obviously, we've played Samford. Samford is a good program, so I think any of these guys obviously would be good. But I think pitching out of the bullpen to add a guy with a sub-2 ERA, that would be choice number 1 for me probably. And then this Air Force kid right there as well.
Yeah, Eric Kane reported on Wednesday, I believe, that Jake Souders is the name, a Samford transfer. He visited on Thursday, and he hit .342 with 19 homers, 92 RBIs in 113 games in 2 seasons at Samford, and would be another intriguing guy. He was a first-team All-SoCon member this past season. So, again, just trying to add to the mix. And the thing about losing a lot of these guys that you've seen depart over the last couple of days, it opens up for spots like a Souders, opens up for a spot like, Trosclair, obviously a pitcher, but a Hanonian, who can come in and hit the ball, or at least have done that, right? And I'm not saying that like the guys that you've recruited in, because even what's the kid from San Diego State's name from this past year?
Finley Bates.
Finley Bates. Because Finley Bates did it and obviously didn't really see the field here. So there is a little bit of a risk in that. But in the portal process, you bring guys in that are fresh and doing it right away. I like the options here that can come in and be a productive bat. And at the end of the day, that's what Tennessee needed in the early portion of the season. You got better throughout the year. Pitching continued to be an issue, but in the early part of the year, you needed the bats, and I think guys like this could come in and help mend those issues early on. But I really think that at that point you mentioned earlier, Brett, about the pitchers, maybe having 16 to 18 of them for a 34-man roster.
I think at this point, after the way the pitching went, you've got to find multiple arms. Somebody's got to click. I don't know. It kind of makes sense. How many bats do you realistically need? Outside of the 9 you got, I feel like that's plenty. Pitching's very important. And things like that.
Doc Holliday on the YouTube chat saying top 50 MLB prospect per Joe Doyle in 2027. Which player are you referring to there, Mr. Holliday? But would love to add that in.
Yeah.
And then GBO Kyle Beach says right now you got second base open, third base open, center field, and an outfielder as your open spot.
I think if Marin comes back, though, he could slide into one of those positions possibly.
You have 2 outfield spots, right? You have center and right field open. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, right field's going to be Icefelder.
Okay. Doc Holliday says he was talking about Souders. Souders is a top 50 MLB draft pick in the 2027 class. That's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have, if Blaine returns, you're going to have Blaine in left. You're going to have Icefelder in right. And then center is either going to be Garrett Wright or one of these guys that you bring in.
Ben McKee seems pretty adamant that he's going to go sign a pro contract.
I mean, I would assume he is too. I don't think he's going to come back.
Yeah.
I think he would probably go pro as well. But I think Icefielder at right and Brown at left would be definite. If
And what does Grinlinger's brother play? Like, I don't know what position is he. Like, I mean, they're seem like he might.
I think he's an infielder. I'm pretty sure.
Because I mean, they want him. Sounds like to be in there, and he's a perennial top 15 draft pick. So I feel like if you can get him on campus, and like I said, there's an MLB lockout like looming. Like that's a big decision for these guys on whether they want to go play college baseball.
He's an outfield. Well, I guess he pitches too, but I think he's coming.
I don't know if he's good as his brother is, but it seems like he is.
And not only with that, I think especially with college baseball, I think colleges are able to compete with some of these contracts and the type of money these guys are going to make way easier than any of these other sports. Not only with the lockout looming, I think as far as football and basketball, it's pretty no-brainer to go pro. But with baseball, we can compete with the contracts these guys sign money-wise.
Well, I think you saw that with Henry Ford last year, right? You know, Henry Ford was a guy that was thinking about the MLB, but decided to come back.
Drafted.
Well, yeah, but I know, but he's thinking about it, and obviously that probably factored into it. But at least before the draft, before he committed, was thinking about that process. But
it looks like Grinlinger's brother, a true two-way guy. When McKee tweeted it in April when he committed, he said, Jared is a true two-way prospect, outfielder and left-handed pitcher. He's ranked by Perfect Games the number 7 overall player and number 3 left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, and when McKee joined the drive on Wednesday, he had hinted at the possibility of Grinlinger making it to campus, stating that the family kind of wants to see the pair of brothers play together.
Shocking if you got him, because baseball is different than basketball. You can do one and done. Like if you decide to come play baseball, you got to come. I don't know if he's draft eligible as a sophomore or a junior, but he's got to come for at least 2 years if he comes.
Yeah.
But with the lockout in the MLB, I mean, I guess that's something to think about. I mean,
the MLB commissioner today said amidst concern, MLB labor talks will end in lockout.
I don't think they're going to play next season. I mean, that's been kind of the rumor for the past 6 months. Yeah.
So
now enlighten me. What are they arguing over? Contracts?
It's basically
a lot has to do with this Dodgers.
It's basically they don't want the high salary teams running baseball.
They're trying to agree on like a set salary cap.
Salary cap. They should have
to make it balanced all the way kind of throughout.
Okay. Well, that's a no-brainer in my opinion. No,
yeah, because there's no reason like Ohtani makes $2 million. Like they're doing some sort of deferred money type.
Well, the Dodgers have Shohei, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, multiple of the top pitchers in the
probably
MLB.
Probably in on schemes. I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, that's something to consider. I mean, it really is. So I don't know, but I'm all for adding as many arms as you can. I feel like you can find bats anywhere, but good pitching's hard to find. But
GBO Kyle Beach says that the Grinlingers also have a third brother that's a pitcher that plays for a college in California. He was saying that they would like to see all 3 of them.
What are we, the Plumleys? Remember the Plumleys?
About to be.
At Duke?
The Boozers.
The Boozers?
Yeah, the Grinlingers.
There you go.
Hopefully they don't have a...
Maybe they'll let him bat in order.
Yeah. Up next, Grinlinger. Here, coming up to the plate, it's Grinlinger.
Oh, man.
Yeah, his brother played at Charleston State and then now pitches at Long Beach State. Bradley Grinlinger.
And what's the...
Jared.
So he's the oldest, that guy you just said?
He must be the oldest, then Trent, and then the kid that's committed must be obviously the youngest.
Jared.
Those parents, man, they must have been athletes in their time
I
as
guess
well.
so, yeah.
It's like those NBA custom games where you have a full team of Shaqs and a full team of Kobe's playing each other.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a Wembanyama family type dynamic. Let's just pump out some players, right? Well, good. The GPO Kyle Beach, he's got the info. He's got some good stuff on here.
Is he still?
Well, he was just adding in the third brother. I didn't know he had a third brother. I just thought it was the two of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Good stuff. All right, well, big weekend for Tennessee baseball in the portal. A couple of big visitors we just mentioned. Also some key retainees. You hope to hear some more positive news from a Levi Clark, a Manny Marin this weekend. But again,
yeah, because for Elander, you got to know, and he probably does.
Yeah.
But you got to hit the portal. You got to replace a bat like Levi Clark.
Well, they've got till June 30th.
But still, do they still wait for guys that are still playing?
I can guarantee you they need to be going after teams that are not getting guys that are on teams right now, most likely.
Yeah, I don't know.
Until the NIL doctor comes in. When we come back, we'll switch over to the NBA hardwood, talk the association. Game 2 of the NBA Finals between the Knicks and Spurs. Can San Antonio protect home court this time? Or does New York right into Madison Square Garden with a 2-0 series lead? We'll break it down when we return right here on The Playbook.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Are you ready for the start of a new season? Maybe looking for your team to go on a tournament run? Get game day ready with Crumble. Head on over to your nearest location and pick up 12 pre-selected cookies plus exclusive toppers. When you're looking for dessert options, there's no question about who you should call on. Our listeners already know. Last year, the Dubai chocolate was a home run, along with the brownie batter. Oreo crumb was another crowd favorite. What new flavor will set the standard this season? If you're in the Knoxville area, there are 3 locations ready to serve you: Clinton Highway, Parkside Drive, and Maryville. Download the Crumble app to build your best lineup and vote on the best combos. You can even put your bid in to request a new flavor. Order in the app and slide on over to your nearest location. Tell them Fan Run sent you, and as always, it's for the fans, by the fans. Don't miss the cookies.
White Claw is taking hard seltzer to new heights with White Claw Surge. At 8% alcohol, White Claw Surge is a stronger wave of refreshment that doesn't compromise on taste. Available in 4 bold waves of flavor like ripe blackberry, citrusy blood orange, zesty natural lime, and tart cranberry. Check out your favorite retailer in-store and online for the White Claw Surge Variety 12-pack and 16-ounce single-serve cans. White Claw Surge. Please drink responsibly.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco at Knoxville Smiles. Have you ever wanted to improve the look of your smile? We know firsthand what the power of a great smile means to a person's confidence and health. Our team of doctors have options for helping you achieve your cosmetic goals. From simply moving teeth into a better position, to reversible cosmetic bonding, to full mouth implant-supported dentures. It is our goal to help patients feel good about their appearance while achieving optimal health. Want to learn more? Call us at 865-539-1776 to schedule an evaluation, or visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day, right here on the flagship station for Tennessee fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
All right. Back here on the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Friday. Nothing better than a Friday in the summer. Brett's about to go hit the links, throw a couple clubs.
Yeah.
Garrett,
I just hope I have enough golf balls. I'll just say that.
Yeah, Garrett already got his fix in yesterday. Any more golf on the radar this weekend?
No, it's just if you're not a member of the course, it's just kind of expensive. I'd rather spend $50 on something else most times, but I like to play. It's just,
Three
just kind of
Ridges.
expensive. That's where I played yesterday, but
I like Three Ridges.
it was still $40 to play at 4:00 in the afternoon. I mean, that's as cheap
Don't
as you're
people
going to
play
get anywhere.
the little par 3 there down on campus? Do you play
Yeah, but if
Williams
I'm going to
Creek?
go play, like I want to go.
You don't like the par 3
I want to go
stuff?
play an 18-hole round and count all my shots.
You always got Whittle, $22.
That's true. I don't know.
It's never a
Maybe.
problem for me. I'm just the cart driver. You know, I'm not a golf player.
Big
I used
caddy
to be.
guy.
Oh, I did. I caddied last year in the Ryder Cup. It was a little fraternity thing.
In the Ryder Cup.
Mhm.
Wow.
Fraternity. It's
I was
between.
gonna say, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's between SAE and SNU, and I was the caddy for Walker Burks. And
You save your
won.
player any shots?
He was honestly bitching
Sneak
me
a ball
out
down
more
your
than-
leg.
Huh?
Do the old foot wedge. Kick it
Well,
back in the fairway.
I was kind of the combo caddy commentator.
Got you.
And so I announced everyone's first shot when they were coming up, you know, and up whatever the phrase is. Up next, Walker
Oh, the
Burks.
tee.
Yeah, coming to the tee, Walker Burks. United States. So I did that. But I guess I didn't really realize the etiquette of a caddy, where you've got to like
It's kind of important.
pick up and run up. Like he was like, all right,
Yeah.
you got to get closer. And I was like, dude, I'm right behind you. Like I'm here. So anyway,
That's fun.
yeah.
Mm.
So I used to play a little bit back in the day, but once I outgrew my clubs and started playing basketball year round, I had to put down the.
I hear you, man.
My brother's a good player though. I always used to make fun of him for it, and now it's kind of caught up to me. But regardless, we'll switch over to the hardwood, something I did a lot growing up, but obviously only moving to 5'10", it had a shelf life. But the shelf life for the Spurs season is in jeopardy tonight if they don't win on their home floor, as the New York Knicks took game one, 105-95, and New York is now favored to win the series. But for tonight's game specifically, the Spurs are 5.5-point favorites on DraftKings, and only 5 times in NBA Finals history have teams come back from a 2-0 deficit in the series to win. That was the 2021 Bucks, the 2016 Cavaliers, the 2006 Heat, the 1977 Trailblazers, and the 1969 Lakers. So obviously a 2-0 hole is not something you want to get yourself into, and usually doesn't result in a positive ending. But none of those 5 teams have lost their first 2 games at home. So if San Antonio were to lose tonight, they'd even be jumping into more uncharted waters. But going back to game one, San Antonio built that 14-point lead. It looked like they were going to come home with a win in game one, and then there was too much hero ball. I thought Victor Wembanyama tried to take over the spot and tried to do too much. He's a great player, but he's young, and the youth of this Spurs team kind of concerns me a little bit up against a team like New York, who might have not have been in the NBA Finals before, but they've been in a lot of these big games. They've worked their way up to this point. You know, Jalen Brunson began his career in Dallas, was able to make it to the Western Conference Finals alongside Luka Doncic, and has in turn carved out a career in New York. Karl-Anthony Towns has played in 3 straight conference finals. OG Anunoby won the 28-19 NBA championship. They've got some experience on this team, and the big reason why I took New York in 6 was because I have rarely seen a younger, more inexperienced team beat an elder, more experienced group. And that's kind of what you see here. Last year, OKC and Indiana, both teams were kind of feeling out their feet in an NBA Finals spot for the first time, right? OKC had never been with that group. Indiana the same way. This year, New York might not have been in the finals before, but they've played a lot of playoff games. They've had this core together for a minute. San Antonio, it's a lot of fun. Victor Wembanyama has a higher trajectory, higher ceiling, but this is a group that has some inexperience, and I thought it really showed in game one when they allowed New York to go on that run and come away with a 10-point win despite trailing. It was New York in like the 3-minute mark, right? So for tonight, I look at a couple of matchups, and I also look at Victor Wembanyama late game. If this is a tight one, once again, Victor Wembanyama cannot play the hero card. What has gotten the Spurs to this point all year has been playing as a team. And I know Wemby has these flashy moments where it's like, wow, this kid is just incredible. And he is, but they have leaned on their team chemistry throughout the season to get to this point. There are going to be those moments where the guy has to take over, but it doesn't need to be multiple possessions in a row and careless possessions in that. Also, let's see more Dylan Harper tonight. He doesn't play like a rookie. I know I talk about the inexperience. Dylan Harper doesn't play like that. I would favor Dylan Harper over De'Aaron Fox at this point. I like Fox a lot. He's, crafty, been in the league for a while. He's a good point guard, but Dylan Harper outplayed him game one, and you saw more of Fox in the critical moments than you did Harper. I think that's got to change. So I look for that change for the San Antonio Spurs. I look for Wembanyama to be a little bit more passive in those big moments, lean on those teammates, the guys that helped you get there. And for New York, you're playing with house money in this spot. You win tonight, this thing's over. And we might not even be talking Knicks in 6. It might be Knicks in 4 because I'm already chalking them up with a win in game 3 in Madison Square Garden. So big spot for San Antonio tonight. Garrett, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, Wemby's going to have to shoot the ball obviously better from the field. His numbers point-wise in game 1 were not going to lose you the game, but 70% of his points were from the free throw line, shot pretty badly from the field. So he's going to have to be better at that. As you said, forced a lot of shots in the second half. 3-point shooting was bad. Had the shot at the fourth quarter that hit off the side of the backboard. Just not good shot selections. But when you're 22 years old and this is your first ever playoffs, game 1 of the NBA Finals will make you do stuff like that. So I would expect him to settle in and have a much better night tonight. Vegas obviously likes them right now. I think they're minus like 250 for tonight, 6.5-point favorites. So obviously, mostly everybody's picking the Spurs to bounce back tonight. And this is another game where if the Knicks win this, the series is most likely over. Going back to MSG, I don't see how they're going to lose game 3 in the Garden. And then at that point, you would just have to pick up one more game after that. But I think the Spurs supporting cast is going to have to be a little better in the second half of this game. Champagnie started out the game really hot from 3 in the first half, game 1. Game 2 was cold, had an offer in the second half. And then, obviously, De'Aaron Fox, he was basically just doing cardio in the second half, wasn't really scoring at all. And Harper was really good, had, I think, around 15 points. I think he's a guy that if he plays a few more minutes, he can give you 20 points a night based on what he's been doing. And Vassell's going to also have to be a little bit better than he was game 1 if they're going to win this game. So I think the Spurs will take care of business in this one, but you never know. If Brunson has a game where he scores 40 points and puts the game, his team on his back, you never know what can happen. And he got 30 without being very efficient in the first half last game. So that's why he's one of the better players in the league, and why his trade from the Mavs to the Knicks has completely shifted the New York's franchise right now. So I think it'll be an interesting game. I think the Spurs will win this one, though, by 5 to 10 points.
Caleb, what about you? Spurs, Knicks tonight, game 2. San Antonio cannot afford a loss at home. What do you forecast for tonight's matchup?
I think the Spurs, I think they take this one. I think Wemby tried to play a little bit too much hero ball in game 1. Like you said, it's just him being young. I mean, 22 years old. That's it. He goes out there and he has an occasion to do that. He plays reckless. He plays me ball occasionally. But as we've seen, it's when all 5 starters are in double digits is when the Spurs have their most success. And I think I'm on the boat with you guys. I think if the Knicks win this one, it's over. It's ball game if Knicks win this game. I think the Spurs, it's not a hot take, but the Spurs have to win the next 2 out of 3 to have a real shot at winning this thing. But I think just after the way they played that first quarter, losing game 1 really hurts you because they went on, I think I'm not sure what the run was in the first. It was like 20-4 run or something in the first quarter.
Their number were 20-5, I think.
20-5. They were up big in the first quarter, and I looked at it. I was working at the time. They had it on the big screen. I looked at it. I was like, oh, that's game. It's like never call game in the first quarter though. That's what I learned there. But I think the Spurs end up taking this one back against the wall. Like you don't want to be in a back against the wall spot in a game 2 of a 7-game series, but that's where the Spurs find themselves when you drop a game 1 at home, especially when you're staring down the barrel of going to Madison Square Garden, going against the Knicks and in their hometown in the NBA Finals. They're playing the Red Sox they're playing the Red Sox in the same time the Yankees are. So New York's going to be a madhouse this entire week. But I think the Spurs got to get it done tonight. And I think they will. I'm with Garrett. I think the Spurs win and cover tonight.
Well, Brett, for your sake, the Spurs have to win the next 4 to meet your prediction.
Yes.
Are you taking San Antonio tonight to win on their home floor?
I am, yes. I thought both teams played a little frenetic. I think the pace may slow down a little bit. I wasn't surprised so much the Spurs playing. They're a young team. The Knicks is the one that surprised me that played so fast. So I expect both teams to play better basketball. shoot the ball better, different things like that. I just think it comes down to the fourth quarter. I just think you got to find a way to make somebody else beat you if you're the Spurs. You may have to run a double at Brunson. I don't know why more teams aren't trying to do it. Make a Bridges beat you, an OG beat you. You got a shot blocker down low, so let's take our chances on making somebody else beat us. They made it tough on Brunson. He took 31 shots to get 30 points, so he got hot in the fourth quarter. So I expect better basketball, and I think Harper needs to find his way in the lineup more, like you guys said. And I like the Spurs tonight, and we'll go from there. But the Spurs have lost at home in this playoffs, and they found ways to come back from them. And I expect this series to continue to be a fight. So, but I like the Spurs tonight as well.
Spurs and Knicks tonight, game 2 of the NBA Finals. I was very pleased with the presentation by ESPN.
It was very good.
It was good. And the end, I'm a big
inside the NBA guys.
I'm a big intro guy too. One of my favorite intros in NBA Finals history was, I guess it's because the series went the way it did, but 2016, the Roots had the intro, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And this year, it felt like it was actually the finals. So the last couple of years, it's been a bunch of hoopla.
It lived up to your expectations?
It did. I didn't
starting with Stephen A. and all those guys though. Like it was terrible.
Oh wait,
like the pregame was like Stephen A. Smith and Bob Myers and
past years,
past years. Barkley and Shaq are who they are. They don't do great, but they're fun.
I see Stephen A. Smith on the TV
when
I wake up. I see him in the afternoon. I see him at night. I don't need to see him right before the NBA
there's
Finals.
Videos of him walking in with 8 security guards. Come on, who do you think you are? It's crazy.
I'm fine for him to do, broadcast after the game with Scott Van Pelt or whatever, but I don't need to see him. The panel, and look, Malika Andrews is a pro. I think she's
awesome.
great. I think she's great. But Bob Myers is about as amusing as a blank wall. And
Perkins, I can't.
Kendrick Perkins tries to say something really funny and corny. He's like a diet version of Barkley and Shaq. The inside the NBA crew is just authentic, and that's what I want. Because on the other panel, it'd be okay. Let's spark something up. Let's have Stephen A. yell, and then Bob Myers bring everyone back together, and then Perk say, rhyme some stupid thing together. It just didn't feel.
Those guys were on NBA TV sometimes. They would show coverage as well as the main broadcast, and Shaq and them. But Shaq or Barkley admitted he was nervous. It was his first NBA Finals as a guy, announcer or whatever.
It's a big deal.
I've always liked Kenny Smith on Inside the NBA too. He's not as corny sometimes as
but
Shaq.
He knows his ball.
But that's what I'm saying. He's I feel like he talks more basketball than the other two do.
Yes. Yeah, agreed.
I think. In terms of the ball, Ernie's a great MC. He keeps everyone level. Kenny's probably the best knowledge there.
Do you like Jefferson and Legler as the
I do.
color guys?
Now, I think they still messed up with Mark Jackson and
Van Gundy. That was elite.
Those guys were great. And chemistry is all about a broadcast, right?
It is.
If I got up and moved you guys away and brought in 3 random people tomorrow, we're not going to have a good show. We don't have any chemistry. And I thought that was the issue over the last couple of years. Jefferson and Legler are good. Legler knows ball. And not that Doris Burke doesn't, but it was a little bit tough on the ear sometimes. And when she would try to have those, commercial break, right before the commercial break kind of one-liners.
Yes.
What was it last year? It was Hartenstein blocked someone and she brought it the German war or something like that. It was oh gosh. But Mark Jackson, man, there's nothing more classic than Mama, There Goes That Man.
Yeah, and him and Van Gundy would go back and forth in the broadcast.
Van Gundy's awesome. When they used to have or I guess it was on ABC, the ABC Saturday night NBA games.
Yeah.
Those, he was really good on those.
Yeah.
And when the game got out of hand, they would get out of hand too. Van Gundy would start talking about a cousin or something. Hell, Mark Jackson wasn't afraid to let it rip during the finals either.
Nope.
Talking about LeBron and Savannah James.
Yeah, I know.
So that's I love that crew. I wish they would have brought them back, but I guess we can't have everything in life. When we come back, we'll wrap things up on a Friday edition of The Playbook. Stay right here. It's Fan Run Radio.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Citizens National Bank.
Life is more fun with a Good Life account, offering extra benefits, including bank travel. Experience the trip of a lifetime to Ireland. Explore rolling green hills, historic castles, and charming villages across the Emerald Isle. Get in on the fun. Call 865-429-7935 today.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
All right, wrapping things up on a Friday. We appreciate you hanging out with us this week. Coming up next, it's The Drive with Russell Smith, Bob Baskerville, The Bear, and Walker Smith. They'll wrap up your Friday here in K-Town, get you ready for the weekend. I guess real quick, I'll note Taylor Tracy has entered the portal for Tennessee baseball, another name to add to that list. But we're going to focus on the positive things as we move into the weekend. Final thoughts today. I'm headed to Atlanta tomorrow, going to the Braves game.
Oh, nice.
Haven't been to a Braves game in a minute. Haven't been to an MLB game in a while, but I got offered an opportunity to go. So
didn't you just go to a Cubs game?
That is true. I did go to the Cubs game.
I went to a Cardinals game a few weeks back. It was all right.
Honestly, I think
home runs.
I think I was so taken aback by the venue that I forgot I was at an MLB game. Honestly,
you were so focused on basketball too,
and I was, and even
wasn't it cold?
If you're not a baseball fan either, like you,
I was.
The actual game can be a little boring.
I was just there for the venue.
Maybe you could go the Sorsby route. Maybe that'll make it more enjoyable too.
Ball strike
yeah, I don't know about that.
You have some fun around Truist Park after the game, at least.
You know,
there you go.
I haven't gambled since the football season, and that's
you said that you're not a gambler outside of that stuff.
Yeah, I've
you gotta know your strengths.
Been more grounded. Yeah,
I will say the Braves venue, Truist Park, is very, very nice.
Oh yeah, and I've been before. Yeah. I went when they opened.
We're about
the
to have
park.
it at Neyland. It's kind of
I know.
look like.
I know. I'm about to visit Neyland,
the
Neyland Entertainment District this weekend.
Neyland Battery.
But I went when Truist Park opened, and it was SunTrust Park at the time.
Yeah.
But I think that was, and I saw Giancarlo Stanton play, and that's when he was kicking it for the Marlins. He had 2 homers in the game, and that was during his ridiculous stretch.
Yeah.
You ever been to a Redbirds game?
I've been to multiple Redbirds games. I used to go to a bunch of them. Now more so for like Grizzlies
$2 beer nights.
Well, more so for Grizzlies night. So after the Grizzlies have the draft, they would always have the draftees come and sign before the game. So I've got a very rare Tyreek Evans and Dylan Brooks signed basketball.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. Tyreek was awesome.
Well, Tyreek was great, but he was just for some reason there.
I liked him in college but
actually, you know what? It was not. I have a Tyreek ball, but that is a different
I didn't know he
one.
was a Grizzly. I didn't think
He was for a little bit.
Did he? So he was drafted by them?
Well, no. Well, so he went to Memphis, but
yeah,
it's when he had signed. But I misspoke.
Got you.
I have an Ivan Rabb, Dylan Brooks signed
Alan,
basketball.
Was he Gonzaga?
He played it for California. Was not in the league very long. He sucked. But Dylan Brooks was awesome.
I do want to. I think Garrett, the college football game dropped last night.
Yeah,
the trailer.
I was about to hit it. Yeah.
Oh, you were okay.
Yeah,
go for it.
Well, no,
no, I don't play it, but I was like, I don't play anymore. I used to play a lot, but now I've gotten older and gotten away from video games. But that Trailer Garrett comment, I think last night on it was elite.
Get you hyped for the season. I mean, I don't play video games, but it got me hyped for
They're
the season.
really
Signetti.
leaning into the Signetti. Really,
But they got the mascot
The
game
song
back,
choice is pretty good.
and
in
then they got the
background.
little confrontations in the tunnel.
Yeah. So mascot mashup is back, and then
They
this
got NIL.
year, and so I'm a Dynasty player. I still play Dynasty. I think I've talked
You
about
gonna be
it
able to
before.
handle the NIL stuff?
Well, that's the thing. That's the real curveball. Because right now recruiting is pretty simple. Like
You just recruit the player, right?
once you figure out how to do it, like it's all about getting guys on campus and getting visits. So you
yeah,
gotta
and
get
then
the top
walk them
5.
down. Yeah,
And it's still strategical. Sometimes it's frustrating, but I do an online Dynasty, so I'm playing with 15, 20 other people in it. It's a
Yeah.
bunch of Memphis
Yeah.
media people. Anyway, it's cool. But this upcoming year, there are a lot of NIL is going to be in it. To where now there's like a Lane Kiffin aspect to it where you can poach coaches away and pay them NIL to get out of there. There's no longer like a guy can commit, but instead of like it's committed and done, he's only a verbal commit.
So you
And-
got to keep on him.
And your
Tell him a couple
NIL
extra 1,000.
yeah, and your NIL budget affects it. So let's
Wow.
say you recruit the same type of player and give him more NIL, then that guy might get mad and decommit.
Wow.
Can you fly to an opposing team's local airport tarmac? And
I think they don't have that, but I'll tell you what they do have in Road to Glory. And Road to Glory is like the creative player. For the academic part, they've got tests on there now.
I
So
did see that.
you've got to take college football test. So let's say it's
Wow.
going to say you have a geography test, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to be like 10 questions, and it's like, where does Appalachian State play?
Okay.
Like North Carolina, South Carolina, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And if you fail the test, you are ruled academically ineligible.
Wow.
I bet the questions are pretty easy.
can you chat GPT it? And get the full
I'm
college
sure you
experience?
can. I'm sure you can.
Wow.
But there are rumors for college football
Don't go to
28. There's gambling mode and form for Brendan Sorsby. So you can go to games and gamble.
Well, and I saw Madden came out too, and they're gonna have like the tush push on there.
Yeah, I don't care about Madden.
You don't do Madden?
Uh-uh.
You don't play with Trevor Lawrence?
No, I watched Trevor.
I think my dad has about 10,000 hours logged on the. On
Wow.
Madden.
If I want to play as Trevor, I'll just throw on the wig and go outside and throw the ball around.
Yeah, it looks fun though. I'm sure I'll play it at some point. We had the one here where it dropped 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The 25. I wonder if
Yeah, people got up and left. It was so intense.
I like the online, like the road to the
Road to-
college
yeah,
football
road to college
playoff
football,
mode.
yeah.
That's what I play.
I
I
play
just
that
run
too.
Tennessee. I run wide stack, and I just throw a go ball every time.
Yeah. My friend Reese has been pounding me over the last week about it. He's like, you're 23 and you still play video games. Well, I'm 23, living my own and want to do something fun after work. I love doing it.
Yeah.
It's fun. And I love college football.
What does he
What's a
expect
better
from you?
game
Read a
for
book?
Yeah, exactly. I'll read the Odyssey this
Yeah.
week instead.
Yeah.
But there's nothing better than college football, and then get to play, the video game version. I'm all for
Hey,
it.
if you ask Josh, that's why he won trivia yesterday.
Shoot, Josh. Hey, speaking of trivia, we'll have to redo the parameters, or maybe just Josh isn't allowed to come, or maybe Josh asks the questions. We'll have to figure it out.
We need to see how you perform, Will.
I know that. You see, that's the thing. I do all this talking, it's going to come back to bite me. Y'all have a great weekend. We appreciate you listening along with us. Coming up next, it's The Drive right here on Fan Run Radio.
Can't get enough Fan Run Radio? Download the free Fan Run app and take the best Tennessee sports conversations with you wherever you go. Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day, right here on the flagship station for Tennessee fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Are you ready for the start of a new season? Maybe looking for your team to go on a tournament run? Get game day ready with Crumble. Head on over to your nearest location and pick up 12 pre-selected cookies plus exclusive toppers. When you're looking for dessert options, there's no question about who you should call on. Our listeners already know. Last year, the Dubai chocolate was a home run, along with the brownie batter. Oreo crumb was another crowd favorite. What new flavor will set the standard this season? If you're in the Knoxville area, there are 3 locations ready to serve you: Clinton Highway, Parkside Drive, and Maryville. Download the Crumble app to build your best lineup and vote on the best combos. You can even put your bid in to request a new flavor. Order in the app and slide on over to your nearest location. Tell them Fan Run sent you, and as always, it's for the fans, by the fans. Don't miss the cookies.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess, but isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah, they specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess, but isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah, they specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
What's the difference between an ordinary EV and a Mercedes-Benz EV? The feeling. Electric is what gets you there. Mercedes-Benz is what moves you in ways no other automaker can. Feel the freedom of the superbly versatile 7-seater EQB. Revel in the inspired, customizable comfort of the EQE sedan. Sense the brilliant intelligence of the EQE SUV. Discover the boundless capability of the EQS SUV. And luxuriate in the flagship meets spaceship magnificence of the EQS sedan. Every